Yo, what is up, everybody? This is your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast, bringing you another episode. It is Monday, July 11th. The NBA free agent buzz has cooled down just a little bit. There's a lot of moves that are being waited to be made based on what Kevin Durant and the Nets are going to do, well, mainly what the Nets are going to do. We have the NBA Summer League on full throttle here, a couple of months away from the preseason in the NFL and in camp. So I think it's time to do a little baseball, man. You know, shout out to my Yankees, best record in the major league. As you know, I got the gear on. And, you know, every once in a while, I like to throw a little bit of MLB content here. So I think we're due. I think the podcast and the channel is due for some major league content, and kind of like what I do in the NBA and the NFL, which through the midway point of the season, I like to kind of give you my top two MVP candidates up to the midpoint of the season. And I do that for the NFL. I'll do an episode for the NFL. I usually do an episode for the NBA. And then later on during the season, I kind of recap and add the true favorites, the other candidates. But I like to pick two, right? And go kind of like give you two candidates and go outside the box. And, you know, don't let the Yankee gear, you know, fool you guys. Your boy's a Yankee fan, no doubt about it. I'm a huge baseball fan. Don't talk as much baseball as I should, but I love baseball. It's the first sport I played in love. I fell in love playing, all right? I am Cuban. I was born with a glove in my hand, all right, and a bat. Don't forget about it. But also, it's the first sport that I enjoyed studying, enjoyed learning the statistic part of the game, and became a fan through back in the day when we didn't have the internet or the data at our fingertips. We would look at the newspaper or look at the back of baseball cards to learn our trivia and also learn our sports data. So that became my first sport that I love, not only as a fan, but also as a statistician and also as a young kid playing up. But anyway, enough blowing smoke over here. I want to give you two players, in my view, that right now are the top two candidates for the MVP up to this point. We are a week away from the All-Star game, all right? And I think one of them, everybody's pretty much got to guess because, you know, the way I'm dressed. But don't let that fool you. I'm just a big Yankee fan, bro, and I love my gear. But second, it's another one that I honestly think it's doing some unbelievable generational stuff right now. And I want to start with two players. First, I think the person that, regardless of team record, regardless of how the team is standing, this player has to be in the talks for MVP and should be top two right now for the up to the midseason right now. Should be either the MVP for the midseason up to the midpoint of the year, or should be considered top two. And let's start off with Shohei Otani. He's not the Japanese Babe Ruth, ladies and gentlemen. He is the first Shohei Otani because he is blowing Babe Ruth, the great Bambino's, all right, stats out of the water. All right, he is pitching full-time and hitting full-time. Babe Ruth never did that, all right? He pitched part-time, hit full-time, and then became a full-time hitter. Didn't even throw as many innings as, you know, Shohei Otani did in his first year, even when he got hurt. But Shohei Otani is unreal right now. He's made the All-Star game as a pitcher and a hitter already for the second consecutive season. Never been done. That's amazing. That's pretty amazing. That is insane. This dude right now is not a Japanese Babe Ruth. Is the first Shohei Otani. Let's give him his props. He is a generational talent, something that we haven't seen in over a generation, and probably the first to ever do full-time hitting and full-time pitching for consecutive seasons, all right? I mean, the guy has been a complete beast. Look, he's 8th in strikeouts, 12th in wins, has a very low ERA of, right now I think it's 2.44. He's 8-4. All right, 2.44 ERA, 111 strikeouts, which is tied for 8th in the league. And last year, Shohei Otani went 9-2. He's already a game behind that win total. I think he pitches tomorrow one more game before the All-Star game. I mean, last year he started 23 games. He started 10 in his rookie season, and right now he's up to 14 games started. He started about 14 games. That's insane. Folks, that's a lot of innings. I mean, he is just throwing innings. He's not just pitching relief. He is pitching 7 and 8 innings. He is killing. He's having games of 11 strikeouts. He's had some gems that he's thrown right now in the season. And it's the only reason him and Mike Trout that those seats are filled because he is like I said, a generational talent that's doing something that hasn't been done in a generation, but also it is a trendsetter. All right, a trendsetter because he's doing it at a level against hitters who are 1,000 times more gifted than back in the day, than in the early 1900s. And he's also hitting against great pitchers that are clocking 100 miles an hour on average with movement. No knock against the old school years. No knock against the great Bambino. He's still one of the greatest players of all time. No doubt about it, all right? Hey, rest there, brother. Listen, I'm not knocking you, the great Bambino, Babe Ruth, but Shohei Otani is the first. You're the second, but he's the first to do this many pitching, this many games, winning this many games in the season, but also being a full-time hitter. That's just on the pitching end. Look, his hitting, it's not too shabby. He has 54 RBIs. He has 19 home runs, all right? And also is batting 256. I mean, he struck out 86 times, has 10 stolen bases, which I believe that's second in the team, believe it or not. And also, pretty impressively, he has 81 hits. No, I'm sorry, number 2 in the team in home runs to Mike Trout's 24. And honestly, man, he is putting in work on both sides of the plate. He is a gem. He is a complete elite talent that is actually doing what nobody has ever done. And he needs to be considered for this because he's doing it at a high level, both pitching and hitting. That's in my book. You have to recognize Shohei Otani as a top MVP candidate. All right, I don't care. I understand. The Angels right now are like completely out of it. 19 games behind Houston. They're 38-49. They're probably not going to make any noise. They don't have enough firepower to do this. And look, but Shohei Otani, along with Mike Trout, is a ray of light. And Shohei Otani is playing great baseball and the only person that's doing what he's doing, the only person that's putting numbers from each side of the mound, his name is Shohei Otani. Therefore, he needs, regardless of team record, regardless of a team record right now, which I know is a big factor for MVP considerations, let's give this man his props, his flowers. He should be considered for MVP up to this point of the season. That's my dog, Shohei Otani, the first ever Shohei Otani. It is what it is. Now, of course, my next candidate, because I'm only going to discuss the top 2, is, of course, my boy, all rise, Aaron Judge, having by far his best season. He's healthy. Contract year. Did not want to settle for that, $213 million for 7 years that they offered him in the offseason. And there was all this talk about sitting out. Nah, man, that man has come up and has played completely out of his mind. All right. Apart from the Yankees having the best record in the major leagues, 61-25, losing 2 to Boston, that's all right, but they're the only team in the major leagues with 60 wins. And a big part of it is Aaron Judge. He's the anchor of that particular offense. And look, Aaron Judge has been having a heck of a season. Right now, he is leading the league in home runs. He is 4th in RBIs, having an awesome season, solid season, hitting overall. He's hitting great. I mean, look, let's take a look at his stats right now. Aaron Judge is batting .283. Great batting average. 30 home runs, 65 RBIs. That right there by Aaron Judge it's one of the greatest starts of a season right now you could have. All right, again, we're a week away from the All-Star break. He is killing the ball. At home, he's batting .299, 17 home runs, 32 RBIs. He is killing the baseball. And he's also been very, very clutch. I forget how many, but he has I think 5 or 6 walk-offs this year so far. I think he has a walk-off home run also of the year. Quote me somebody on that, I'm not sure. But he's also been very clutch, just along like every other Yankee hitter in that team. The Yankees, of course, are crushing the baseball. They're having one of the greatest starts in their career. Last time the Yankees won this many games, they won the World Series. I believe this was in '99 when they beat the San Diego Padres. And they set the single season record based on how many wins based on how many games played. But Aaron Judge has been tearing up the ball and has to be deserved. It has to be mentioned as, to me, the top MVP go-getter, their MVP candidate, because, all rise, baby, Aaron Judge is bringing down the sentence every single night when he's stepping behind that plate. He is just crushing the ball and anchoring an offense that's on all clicking on all cylinders, regardless of the last two games for the New York Yankees. I went ahead and I did a Twitter poll yesterday. I went ahead and I put up a Twitter poll yesterday just to kind of get some data for this episode. And I put up, we're up to the halfway point of the season, right? In the Major League season, almost up to the halfway point. Who is your MVP at this point? My choices were Aaron Judge, Shohei Otani, and comment other. A lot of people didn't comment who it was, but they did vote on other. I had a total of like 108 votes. And, overwhelmingly, Judge won. People voted for Judge being the MVP so far, out of him and Otani at 56.5%. And Shohei had 35.2% of the votes. It tells you that everybody is definitely focusing on Judge because, offense usually, the offensive, the offense, the home runs, the RBIs, and the team record. Judge just checks all the boxes. But again, I think outside the box. If we want to take a look at numbers, not knocking Aaron Judge's number, who is my boy, my Yankees, but Shohei Otani, come on, let's be real. Who was the last person that went 8-4, 2.44 ERA, 111 strikeouts? All right, offensively, has 19 home runs, 81 hits, 15 doubles, 19 homers, 54 RBIs. Come on now. That is just plain ridiculous. On merit and stats alone, Shohei Otani needs to be considered top two with Aaron Judge as this so far up to the midpoint of the season, top two MVP candidate for sure. Here you go, boys and girls. It is what it is. Your boy is giving you a nice little recap and the reasons why Aaron Judge and Shohei Otani are your top two MVP candidates up to the midpoint of the year, midpoint of the season. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Your boy E-Man is signing out. Average Joe Sports Talk. Peace.